Man, you can call it car robots if you like. You can call it robots in disguise if you like. You can call him Convoy, Fire Convoy, or good old RiD Optimus Prime. Either way, this guy in all of his modes will be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, that's right baby, hit that notification bell please. It helps me out a ton and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, NL, and the Autobot family. And have a look for me everywhere across social media. All those links are down in the description below. And this is the original, I believe, 2001 Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime. This is the North American, European release, whatever you want to call it. I know because apparently the sound clips are different. Now I'm not a sound clip guy. I'm really not. If you watch part 1 of the series, because this is technically part 2. Part 1, of course, Ultra Magnus. Part 2, Optimus. And part 3 will be Omega Prime. If you watch part 1, I really didn't do the lights and sound with Ultra Magnus. Maybe I'll do a few more here. I tend to press the button by accident a fair amount anyway. And in part 1, I kind of did it keeping in mind Optimus Wilbur review. And Optimus Wilbur had, you know, a lot of ideas that I wondered if mine matched up or not, and they largely did. Well, what about now in part 2? He again recently looked at this version of Optimus, and he basically said that, you know, anybody who is a collector really deserves to have this, experience this, and that the transformations are great and all the modes are good, but that the largest of his 3 modes, when he's combined really with like his fire truck, crane and trailer and whatnot, is awe-inspiring to look at, but not the most functional thing. Well, we're gonna see if that's true or not when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. I think it's pretty certain and safe to say that anyone who knows me knows that I'm generally a G1 guy, but I can't deny that I have always had a soft spot, been enamored by this version of Optimus Prime from Robots in Disguise 2001. And yes, the fire truck was a bit of a different take, but it was a pretty cool take all the same. Something different, you know? The guy can roll. He's on rubber tires, by the way, like that's beautiful. We can extend this. There's like 4 miscellany sections in here, and they're all able to be, I think, spring loaded if I'm not mistaken. I'm not even sure exactly how to do that now. Maybe, are they spring loaded? Yeah, they're definitely spring loaded. I just don't remember how you fire them now, but whatever. You can press this button up here and it makes these 2 pieces pop out, hoses, I guess. And this guy comes from a time when you had lights and sound, so you could always press here. And apparently, you know, he can maximize, and he lights up and right. A little excessive, I think. I'm not a lights and sound guy. I find it more annoying than anything else. But if you are, then hey, this guy had it. And I think that's it, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, he rolls tremendously well. Beautiful. Now, Optimus Wilbur had a problem with one of the panels on one of the sides kind of tabbing in correctly. I don't really seem to have that problem with this guy. Or I should say, Maximal 10 doesn't have that problem with this guy, since this belongs to him. This seems solid. Very, very solid. Now, the way the instructions tell you to do things is not exactly the way that I find easiest to do it, so I'm probably going to deviate from them here for the purposes of showing you guys everything. We're going to kind of go from small robot to base first, and then from base to Mega Optimus, and then from Mega Optimus to Ultra, Super, I don't know. The combined mode, man, the combined mode. So, of him with his trailer. So we kind of come here to the side and see if I can pick that off and pick that off. And all of that we're going to take off for now, off to the side, away. We're going to come here and take that section off and take this section. I guess he can make that noise too. And we're going to take that off. These notch on very, very securely. Obviously now we're back kind of far from what we have left here. I'm just going to readjust things a little bit to make it easier for us to kind of see what I'm doing here to get him in his kind of main robot mode. Okay, so this is sort of kind of where we should be to begin. We can come here and slide that out. It's his blaster. It has little rollers on it. It's not exactly his iconic ion blaster, but hey, whatever. It's the one that this guy comes with. We can come here now, and really what you're doing is folding the legs all the way down and straightening the body up. We have a red hinge up here, we have a gray hinge here, we have the hip hinges, all of that just unfolds. We split the legs and we rotate them and bring this around and bring this around. This panel, I guess you could say right here, should be on the back of his leg, then this folds back and back. A lot of people try to fold it in around. No, you will break it if you do that. Then we can come here to the back and open up, pop out a foot, close, open up, pop out a foot and close. And that's the lower body done. I'm going to stand the guy up and we'll do his upper body next. Now, I'm not typically a guy who loves a lot of chrome, but I can't even pretend that this isn't impressive. So now that we're to the upper body, we come here and these angle up and the arms in kind of typical Optimus Prime fashion come out to the side and they extend down and rotate around. Extend down, rotate around. And then we collapse the body. Just straighten things up a little bit there. We're going to take his little blaster, which does fit in his hand here. No problem. But in the end, see if we can get something a little more interesting and dynamic here. In the end, boom, here we have Optimus Prime in his robot mode. No, I'm not even going to pretend that I don't think this is glorious. In terms of his kind of cartoon coloration accuracy, so far, and I'm going to again reserve giving any scores until we kind of get through all of the stuff, but so far, this is spot on. I mean spot on. The chrome on the chest might be overdoing it a little bit because the rest of him is matte and the chest now is really shiny, but honestly, generally speaking, everything is exactly where it should be. Spot on. Very, very impressed so far. The articulation for the, oh, by the way, the transformation to get this guy here is simple. You're really just unfurling the body, bringing the shoulders forward and pulling them down, and then you're collapsing the body to pop the head up. It's quite easy. The articulation, we have a head that goes left and right and up and down. His little earpieces, they also move. We have a butterfly at the shoulders because of transformation. Shoulders can go all the way around. We have a swivel. We have a good 90 degrees. We have a wrist rotation. We have a waist that can, like, it can go all the way around. We have an ab crunch. We have legs all the way forward. We have legs that can go, well, not back, well, I guess they can. If you get that out of the way, the backpack's sort of out of the way, they can go all the way back. Out to the side is not full splits, but like, come on, it's pretty good. We have a swivel that's really at the knee, not so much the thigh, but it works if you need a swivel. 90 degrees at the knee. and then ankles forward, back, and we have an ankle tilt, a little ankle tilt to the side. He is hefty, beefy, solid, secure. How big is he, you know, compared to something modern day? Well, here he is next to something that's a little more modern day. This is leader class, Star Convoy. I think he was Selects, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see that, like, the original is a little bit shorter, but it's mostly leader-ish size, so he's a big boy. No doubt about it, great size for an Optimus Prime. Now we come to the back end, and I will say this, if you don't really like the chrome and you want one that's more like a solid color, so to speak, there was always the Encore that was released a few years ago, I think. I think there were a few issues with it, but it looks really good. Nevertheless, now we have the trailer. This becomes a base. It'll also become pieces for them later on, but we'll do the base first, basically. And we have kind of three things, I suppose you could say, that we really need to sort of pay attention to here. The first thing to note is that we have these pieces here. We're also going to pull this off, and if I can get it, it's in there tight. We're going to pull that off. Then we should be able to straighten this piece up. And actually, maybe we'll take this piece out of it first. Okay, so to do the base, we have these two pieces that need to look like this. I'm going to show you using this one how this was accomplished. First, we take this and we turn it around. If you have the Encore or you have the Japanese version, you don't have this Autobot symbol here, which is too bad because it really does help to kind of orient you a bit. We have a peg hole in the top there, and we have a peg down under this section that has the blue on it. So we take that peg and place it in that peg hole. I'm going to tell you now, the instructions do not show that very well. We take this piece and we bring it down. We rotate the little blaster cannon things around. We take the hand and bring it around, and we also bring it down. That is kind of the two sides. That only leaves us with that other huge piece that has the, like, ladder section on it. How do we deal with that? Well, that's a pretty fair question, and honestly, if you were to try and leave it like this, it would just fall back. You have to come down underneath and flip out the feet and flip in, although you need the feet in the right position to do it. Flip that in, flip that foot out, flip that in, and make sure that foot is flipped out, and now it will stand. Bring this down. I suppose if you want, you can bring those pieces forward. We take the sides of the ladder and we flip them out as well, and that kind of piece that was at the very top kind of flips forward to be a couple of cannons, I suppose. Now, before I sort of back this up so you can see it a little bit better, I'm going to bring in those other two pieces and show you where they attach. Bring in them other two pieces. This one here goes on this side. We have a little peg right here on the very corner. It goes into a peg hole back right here. Kind of, you'll see it. It's on the main section, just sort of behind this whole chest piece and head. It fits there just perfectly, and it's kind of elegant how it's done. So that one goes there, and then this one will come over here, just in behind, and like that. And we can take Optimus, even if we are so inclined, and bring him in to kind of stand with the whole base. I'm going to back it up so you can see the entire base. And up here I was talking about flipping this section forward. At the end of the day, this is beautiful. I think it's a interesting, full, functional looking base. You could certainly use Minicons or Micromasters or some such thing on it. Little Legends or Legion classes offerings if you are so inclined. Optimus is fantastic. Honestly, without doing anything else, this is fantastic. But that's not all that we can do with the guy. No, no, no. Now we can do the Mega Mode, which requires us to pull those sections out, and then taking these lower sections, that was our base, they're the back of the truck, they're the feet of another big combined mode. We angle down the toes, and then this whole section, actually we didn't need to pull these out yet. That's for later. That's for later. I'm sorry. We're using the peg up here and the port right there. We can put these on there. And on the other side we can do the same thing. By the way, look at the paint in here. Like, look at that beautiful, beautiful blue. That metallic blue is gorgeous. Put that one on. And place that. This does definitely make them heavy. Okay, so we put those on, and then we can come around to one of these, and we're going to really kind of fold it back up. Okay, so this is actually going to be the arm for over here. I'm just going to show you how this folds up and kind of get it situated for how this will peg on. What I can tell you right now is we have pegs out here, and we even have a screw hole here that might be of a little bit of help later on. But really our main thing is trying to kind of sandwich this hand over this section. So the last time we saw this, it was like this for base mode. So now we bring it down and we can just bring the hand up. We're going to fold this piece up, bring this forward, fold these two pieces in. We have two holes in here. They're going to go over those pegs that were on the outside of the arm. We're going to straighten up the hand like this. These will peg on. These will kind of sandwich up around. Once these are pegged on, I'm just going to show you that so you can sort of see exactly how it goes. So as you can see, we have this tabbed in over here, and now we can bring this up over and the one on the back, and that's really it, because the instructions show this hand holding his blaster, but I think that looks idiotic, so I don't do it that way. I honestly just come here and I put the other one on. I bring this up over and I bring this up over and call it good. Angle the dual cannons there just fine. And I say that in the end, boom, this is Optimus in his mega mode. Everything still works pretty much the same as it did before. You still have a wrist rotation. Now you have articulation at the hand and fingers a little bit. Is it at the fingers? Maybe not at the fingers. The thumb certainly does a little bit. Besides that, the arms are just as functional as they were before. This is a pretty solid connection, by the way, and the shoulders still have a full, free range of motion. So he's still excellent, but that's not all. There's one other configuration here. So as I said, we have one more mode, and that's going to be his Ultra mode, and we're kind of halfway there. We take this off, and we take this off of the shoulders, and now we extend the shoulders. And now we can take these pieces, and they will slot down, and we can push that back in. And this one over here will also slot down, and we should be able to push that one in. These are now on secure. We take these sirens and they go down on his back. Then we come to these sections. This time they will be feet, and we open out the toes, and we open up the kind of gray section here, and we pull, if I can get it, sometimes it's easier to get it from underneath. We pull this out. His entire black foot here is going to go down inside here, and then there's a peg right here that's going to go into a peg hole right there. And that's going to solidify this entire foot into position. And we're going to do the same on the other side with the other foot piece. And help him get his boots on. And that is that's all of that done, and all that leaves now is the last section, which is going to be the head and the torso section. We extend the body up for this. It'll end up going pushed down. If you look at the top, you'll notice you have 1, 2, 3 pegs, and they're going to go into 3 slots basically on the body piece. I'm going to show you those 3 slots, and that will end this. That will have this guy in the mode that he needs to be in. Okay, so last but not least, we can come here and we have 1, 2, 3 pegs right there. You might ask yourself, what do you do with this great big ladder section? It just hangs down his back. There's a couple of orientations for it. It can also come out over his shoulder. We'll see that as well, but I find that that doesn't work the most solid. It's difficult, I find, to peg this piece on. It's the only hard part of any of the transformations at all. The rest of it is all easy, simple, no problem. This is really the only hard part. I'm going to do it and just show you it in the end, because otherwise you're just going to watch me trying to peg this piece on, and it's a nuisance. Okay, so we've got the head piece on, the ladder's down the back. Now, this whole chest piece will come down. There's 2 rectangular slots there. There's 2 rectangular pegs there. So as this comes down, it will peg onto the chest. You can, I've seen some people angle this in. I guess that's up to you. You can angle those up, but in the end, boom, here we have Omega. I think it's Omega. No, it's not Omega. It's Ultra Optimus. So many Optimuses, man. Here we have Ultra Optimus Prime in his gigantic robot mode. Just how gigantic? Pretty darn gigantic when you look at him next to Fire Convoy. This is a traditional leader size offering. Same size as like Power of the Prime's Optimus Prime. So like he's a big boy. He's bigger than like a traditional leader class offering. Certainly bigger than the leaders that we've been getting in Siege and Earthrise. So we're going to get into his scores now. And the very first thing is going to be his coloration. Admittedly, the Encore is probably, because it's all the same, a little bit more accurate, as where like the chrome, for example, isn't quite accurate here. There's another feature. Actually 2 features, and I guess I'll show it this. Oh, you can also lower his body if you want. I didn't mention that, and I guess since you can lower his body and I forgot to do that, you know, he's still bigger than a traditional leader, but sorry about that. The body is lowered. This section on his chest here can open. I don't know if that's a blaster or I had the joy of my battery going on me. I'm not exactly sure where it was that I left off, but I know that we were giving this guy his grades, honestly. And I think I was just showing this piece here. It's a little flap. I don't know if that's supposed to be a matrix or what it is. Nevertheless, honestly, the coloration is, I want to say a 10, but I'll say a 9.5 because there are times that we got the chrome or whatever. But it's pretty darn accurate. So I'm going to say a solid 9.5 for sure, just to give a bit of leeway should something be inaccurate that I'm not immediately picking up on. Then we have the transformation, all of it. All of it is pretty easy. I'm going to say 10. Fantastic transformations. You wouldn't think with so much parts forming and stuff going around, but everything tabs together solid well. It's excellent. The hardest part is getting these 3 pegs tabbed in up here, but I think that that's still pretty fantastic and still works generally well. I did want to talk about the articulation, and I'm going to start things off right away with this. So, this can, and this is what I don't like, this can swing out around and kind of go over his shoulder. I don't like it, and I find it, there you go. You can see, like it just popped the chest piece off, so I don't do that, even though he can. I don't find that effective. The head can go, when everything's solid, the head can go left and right, the little earpieces can move, this can go up and down. The shoulders can still go all the way around. We still have a bicep swivel, 90 degrees at the elbow, wrist. We have the ability to move all around there. The thumb can move out to the side. Can still happen, no problem. The legs retain all of their motion. Honestly, both of it has pretty great articulation. The only thing that's a nuisance is when you try to use this, I'm going to call it third stabilizing leg on the back. And truth is, the third stabilizing leg can sometimes help you, you know, with a few dynamic poses. I don't know, let's, I just took his foot out. Let's see how we can do here. It'd be nice if we had an ankle tilt down here on these, but like, I don't know, like it helps solidify when you want to get some sort of a dynamic pose, so to speak. But I don't think I would put him in this mode a whole lot, and when I do, I don't think I'd move him a whole lot, but the base robot, the base, the Mega, all that is stupendous. This looks glorious. It's probably the least functional, but it still looks stupendous. Overall, this Optimus, it's a solid 9.5. It's almost perfect. And you know what that means. We're done part 2. Here he is next to Ultra Magnus. And in part 3 of this little series, we're going to see what probably a lot of people have been waiting to see. These two guys combined together. And that is when we get Omega Prime. Man, what's not to like? I mean, I like the base. I love this robot mode. I like the truck mode. I wish that I didn't hit the button for the lights and sound so often. The Mega mode with the 2 shoulder missile launcher things and the 2 big hands, I guess, like the Popeye arms, like, I guess that's cool, I suppose. When he is all combined in his huge robot mode, admittedly, there's a lot going on there. Now, he looks super cool. And the one thing that I forgot to mention is that on his tires, it says Fire Convoy. Kind of a holdover from Japan. And if I didn't mention it, his tires are still rubber, which is fantastic. This is an excellent, excellent Optimus Prime. So incredibly versatile. The large, combined, Ultra, or whatever it is, Prime mode, it's not the most functional thing in the world. Things do like to pop off, like the shoulder pieces especially, but you can still get some dynamic poses. It's kind of like with Ginrai, like it's cool, but you're only going to be able to get so many poses, and you really have to be delicate in your movements. This guy's much the same sort of thing, you know? But of course, him being combined with his own trailer is only one way that he combines with stuff. What do I mean? Well, as you know, we still have one part left, and that one part is going to be him combined up with Ultra Magnus to become Omega Prime. That's going to be what we look at in part 3. Will it be more functional combined than him and his trailer? Well, we're going to find out. But for now, let me know what you think about this iteration of the Autobot Supreme Commander, Leader, whatever you want to call him. You know I love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there is a donate link down in the description. Either way, man, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you do make a difference. And I look forward, man, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, man, right here inside the videos.